David Cronenberg is one of those directors who had this fantastic run of movies through the late 70s into the 80s that just felt totally unique. There was nobody else that did anything like him. And to see some of his movies being remade feels a little bit wrong, but I like the way that this one has gone about its business. It's a fairly low budget remake. They tackle some of the points from the original Rabid, but it's one of Cronenberg's movies that could get away with having a remake done. The Soska sisters tackle this one, and this isn't the first time they've tackled body horror. They did an excellent job before in American Mary, and what they do is they give us a character of Rose, this person who's already disfigured at the start of the movie, who's had an accident, who feels a little bit shy and put upon, whose career is completely faltering and not going the way that she wants, who has this friend who does that sympathetic thing where she talks a guy into asking her out to make her feel better about the way she looks. Of course, that goes horribly wrong, and as she flees from the scene after finding out the truth, she gets knocked down and is even more horribly disfigured than she originally was. And the Soskas don't shy away from showing us in graphic detail the horrific injuries Rose has suffered, and it is brutal, it is grotesque, it is horribly disgusting. And the camera lingers on this and doesn't shy away, doesn't turn away, doesn't give us a chance to breathe. It focuses on this horrific image, and I love the fact that we see this early on. But Rose decides to undertake this specialist program where she can get medical care free because it's experimental, because she has such a physical deformity because of this accident that they are willing to use her as a test subject. And we see in a scene that's obviously homaged from Cronenberg's Dead Ringers, which is a nice little touch, she is transplanted with this piece of skin that totally transforms her in such a way that it clears up all the scars she ever had. She comes out looking like a new woman. She has attained the kind of beauty that she never thought she would have. She's found a sense of vigour that she never had before. People stop and stare. People listen to what she has to say. Her career takes off. She is everything that she wanted to be thanks to this accident. Her life is perfect. End of the movie, and that's it, done. If only it was that easy. No, in fact, because she has had this experimental treatment, she is starting to hallucinate. She's starting to have these episodes where she sees herself devouring people. Whenever she gets heightened or worked up around people, she tends to find herself getting carried away a little bit and maybe having a little nibble or a bite. And what you have is this character who is a carrier of something. She's immune to whatever she's got, but she's infecting other people, and there seems to be this kind of virus outbreak that is starting to affect the town round about her. And what we have is this idea of someone having to be a monster to facilitate all the good in her life, rather than just riding the status quo where she was previously. Is it worth what's happening to everybody else so she can get her little piece of glory? Of course, there is plenty of violent, bloody scenes within this, and they're really well shot. They spend a lot of time on the gore and blood and guts, but it's not always in your face. Sometimes it's done in a manner where it's got everything spurting and it's covering the screen in blood, and it's violent and it's nice if you're into your practical effects. Other times they hide things with shadows or backlights or just blocking things out, things that may not look good if you saw it fully, but putting it in enough shadows to make your mind work overtime and create the monstrosity within your head of what you think you maybe have seen on screen. It's a great trick of balancing out their budget to create a story and a character and a cast of characters that I was genuinely interested in. I was wondering how they were going to deal with the viral outbreak. I was wondering how Rose was going to deal with her new changes to her physiology. And it's uniquely tackled. I like the direction in this. I do like the Soska sisters movies. I think they do something a little bit different. They add a different spin to the typical horror movie, and I like the fact that they tackle this kind of body horror again and here, creating some stunningly grotesque images along the way. I think this was a really good remake, which isn't something that you find too often. A movie that is different enough from the original, adds their own things to it, but still sticks to the kind of themes and ideas that the original had. I think it's well worth checking out. It's a good horror movie, especially at Halloween, and well worth checking out. Let me know your thoughts on the movie in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man vs. Film.